Welcome to the Leverton on Everything podcast, a daily podcast where I, Adam, review literally everything in under 10 minutes. So, yesterday I watched a movie that I had seen when it came out in 1991, The Commitments, and I have to say, I really liked the movie. So I liked the movie when it came out, and you always have that kind of feeling, kind of fear when it's been so long since you've seen something that oh maybe it's not so good, but it really is good. And I think actually at the time I thought maybe it was a bit overhyped because it was a huge movie for what it is. And what is it? It's basically it's a movie about soul music, and soul music is one of my favorite genres of music. Yeah, thinking like about Aretha Franklin, um, Wilson Pickett, that kind of music. And Wilson Pickett actually is an important plot point in the movie. So the music is the star of the show, and it's really good. And they actually put a band together, and the band can actually play music, and the lead singer can sing. So that's the main point of the movie is the music, but also, and this is the part I didn't really remember. Probably most people listening to this podcast, unless you're Irish and as old as me, are not do not remember when the southern part of Ireland was really poor, and that's they had sort of like an Irish miracle, or I guess it was called a Celtic tiger. Like after this happened, so in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then there was the dot-com stuff and all of that stuff. But anyway, what that economic boom actually lifted a lot of Ireland out of poverty. And not to say that there isn't any poverty in Ireland today, because that would be an exaggeration, but it is definitely much better than it was back then. So this movie shows real Irish poverty, what it was like in the 80s to live in Dublin, to live in the poor parts of Dublin. And there's lots of jokes about how poor Ireland is and how the Irish are the blacks of Europe, and the Dubliners are the blacks of Ireland, and the North Dubliners are the blacks of Dublin. Because somebody asks Jimmy, who is like the manager who puts the band together, they ask him why soul music, and that's his answer. But it's great for me because I love the music, but it's also great for me because I kind of grew up in the same sort of community. Clearly not with so many people, but everybody was trying to leave. People my age were trying to escape, and these people are also trying to escape. And I like the fact, not to spoil the ending a little bit, is that the band is not successful. I mean, it is successful, but then they break up, and the members of the band go on, to do different things. And I think two people who were in the band actually formed the band the Corrs, and became famous in music later. So they break up in the end because their personalities just don't mesh as a band. And the thing that I like about it is that even though the it's never mean towards the characters, right? There's this character Deco who's the lead singer, and he's a bit pompous and stuck up, but they're never mean to him. Although I mean, there's one character who is, but he's mean to everyone. But you know, they do it with like heart, right? So they're not like making fun of anybody for who they are, but they're showing who they really are, and they also have all of these things that are so Irish. So the movie is really well done. Like there's this wedding, and then like there's this band that's playing there, and he's playing like Needles and Pins, which is a song that was really popular at that time from the 60s because there was all of this oldies radio now, which I don't think which I don't think that they have now. And it has one of my favorite jokes in it. I'm going to ruin the joke a little bit, but basically, he's going to see one of his band members in this really crappy, rundown apartment building. And he sees a guy with a horse who's waiting for the elevator. And he's like, "You're not thinking about taking the horse on the lift, are you?" And he's like, "Well, he'll hurt himself if I force him to walk up the stairs." Sorry, bad Irish accent, but really funny, really funny. It does have a lot of, which is also typical for the time. There's also a lot of kind of sexually inappropriate comments, but they are in a rock band. So, yeah, I would say this is probably one of my favorite movies now. Like, it's up there. I really like it. It's not a funny movie per se, except for the horse thing, but it's fun. It really does show you what Dublin was like in the early 90s, and the music is great, and the character acting is really great, and it doesn't have like a profound message or something. It's not like it's not like the Blues Brothers with that crazy car chase at the end. But it is like the Blues Brothers because the Blues Brothers also doesn't have a message. It's just a movie about good music and interesting characters. Although the characters in this movie seem a lot more realistic than the characters in Blues Brothers. But both great films. So 1,000,000,000 stars out of 10. Recommend it. The Commitments. So watch it if you haven't seen it. Rediscover it for what it is. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.